This is Andres Carriado, the author of This is 619.blogspot.com, and this is going to be my first of, hopefully a few more video predictions on major upcoming fights before the end of the year. I'm also going to do another video series that I call Ring Ramblings, where I just kind of talk about my opinions on things related to the sport of boxing. It's my favorite sport. My blog is about sports and music and just other things that I have opinions on. So the way I'm going to do this is I like to look at BoxRec. Any type of prediction that I make, I like to use BoxRec to support whatever prediction it is. So the big fight this weekend, the main reason why I'm doing this video is the Adrien Broner challenging Antonio DeMarco for his WBC 135-pound title. Um, One thing that I always say about people who challenge for titles, not necessarily just a recognized title belt, but actually fighting a reigning title holder, is that you're going to see a lot more successful challenges from a guy who has at least 120 rounds under his belt. Um, the only reason why I know this is because I spend a lot of time on BoxRec looking at this sort of thing. Um, this is the process that I go through, and um, I see BoxRec has Adrien Broner listed as the #1 lightweight right now. This is very unconventional with BoxRec because typically what BoxRec will do is they'll rate guys based on how many opponents they've beaten at that weight class who are ranked in like a top 25, top 50. It's kind of like a RPI in college basketball. You might not agree with it, but there's some numerical logic to it. With Adrien Broner, I don't see it. He doesn't have rated lightweights on his resume. Um, that's not to say that he isn't the most talented lightweight and that on Saturday night he won't prove that. All I'm saying is that this is the reason why I use BoxRec. Another thing that jumps out to me about Adrien Broner's resume is that he only has 83 rounds of experience. So when people like to knock him on his fight against Daniel Ponce de Leon, a guy who at the time had 200 rounds of experience, was not a reigning title holder or anything, but was a former title holder with a lot of experience in championship fights and against just world-class opposition in general. Um, he didn't fight well. He wasn't able to land his jab, and he wasn't able to set up his power shots. In the 4 fights that he's had since then, he has been able to land his jab, and we've seen what his power shots have been able to do. Um, One concern from people that I've seen online and in other predictions is that Adrien Broner will be going up in weight, and DeMarco has dealt well with lightweight power. We've seen that even against Edwin Valero, he lasted a lot longer than most people did. He was able to withstand Jorge Linares, what he was able to do, and come back both through skill, but also a lot of determination, um, and stop Jorge Linares. Um, when we look at his record, DeMarco, that is, he has 151 rounds under his belt. A lot of them are title rounds. He's beaten other former titleists like Jose Alfaro. Um, that was a 10-round fight. Valero was a 9-round fight. Linares was a 11-round fight. Reyes Sanchez is a top fighter, but that's 12 good, solid rounds. So those sorts of things are gonna help him help him out in the fight tomorrow night. I think this one really boils down to whether or not Broner is able to land his jab. I would never expect Broner to melt down the way Linares did. That doesn't happen very often. I mean, um, you could say what you want about DeMarco's will, and it's clearly he has like he's a very strong-willed fighter, but that type of blowing that type of a lead and getting stopped that way doesn't happen very often in title fights. I do think that if Broner is able to land his jab the way Linares was, that he'll control the majority of the rounds and he'll beat DeMarco. I don't see it being a knockout. I know Broner has knocked a lot of guys out recently, and I do think he'll carry a lot of power to 135. I just think that DeMarco is a tougher fighter than anybody Broner's fought since Ponce de Leon. Um, Broner's gotten a lot better since Ponce de Leon. He's gotten more experience and he's definitely gotten better. Um, that's not to say that his skill set has added any wrinkles. I just think that mentally he has a much better idea of what he wants to do in that ring. Um, and that comes from experience. DeMarco has a lot of experience. Um, he knows how to survive tough spots and fights, and I think that's basically what's going to happen. Broner's going to control the majority of the action, but DeMarco's going to be there at the end. I would predict a 12-round decision in Broner's favor, probably pretty decisive. I'll say 9-3, but it's going to fall short of uh, what Adrien Broner himself has predicted. Um, he likes to call himself the next Floyd Mayweather. That's a comparison that he makes a lot. It's a comparison that I don't even think Floyd Mayweather has necessarily denied. I think Floyd Mayweather kind of welcomes him as a potential heir apparent, I guess. I don't necessarily see that. From the era that Floyd Mayweather grew up in, that Olympic class of amateurs coming out, one guy he was compared to a lot at the time was Zab Judah. Um, from the first time I saw Adrien Broner fight, I thought that it was more Zab Judah and Adrien Broner than Floyd Mayweather. And by that I mean Zab Judah had a lot of talent. He had a solid technical foundation. People say that his defense was bad. I don't necessarily think he was bad defensively. I just think that he didn't. He just lacked focus because he always wanted to put on a show. Whereas Floyd Mayweather was more 100% business all the time when he was in the ring and never sacrificed his defense for trying to get a flashy knockout. And one fight where I think that showed the difference um, was when Zab Judah fought Omar Beast. Now, I'm not comparing Antonio DeMarco to Omar Beast in terms of talent, but in terms of that determination matched with the skill set to give a good, solid um, boxer a lot of trouble. That could be, if it's that type of a fight where Broner wins, but it's not overly impressive, I would think that he has a lot more growing to do if he wants to start comparing himself to Floyd Mayweather. He may fall more in that Zab Judah class of a guy who has some good wins under his belt, but more than anything else, he kind of left some of that in the ring with his antics. I'm still predicting a Broner win, and I do think it'll be decisive, but no, it's not going to be a repeat of Mayweather Corrales.